Hey everybody, it's Dick here. Today I'm riding the new Honda CB650R Neo Retro motorcycle. It is a 649cc liquid-cooled inline-4 engine. It's a 6-speed wet multi-plate clutch, chain-driven, has 41mm inverted Showa forks. It has a Showa single monoshock at the back with 5.04 inches of travel. Honda's doing their best to put the wind where it needs to be, but these extra bit of panels and vents are a bit awkward in places. It shares the new display that the CB500X and most of the bikes in Honda's line has now. It does have a gear indicator. The shiny glass on the front made the 500X hard to read, but hopefully the reduced angle on this will be a little better. Seat height is a modest 31.9 inches. I'll be honest, I'm smitten with this bike and I'm eager to take it for a ride. But first, your exhaust note. Oh, my four-cylinder, how I've missed you. Hey everybody, it's Dick here. I'm on the 2019 CB650 Neo Retro, whatever the f*** it is. It's got a round headlight. It's an inline-4 650cc engine. It's got a quick shifter, whatever that means. Apparently if I'm riding fast over 4,000 RPM, ideally at 6,000 RPM, I'm going to be able to shift without using my clutch. I guess it minimizes the time it takes to shift. You have all these guys riding automatic muscle cars and they're setting quarter-mile records, and if someone comes out in a manual transmission car, they go, and he did it with a stick shift, whoa! Like it's some big f***ing deal. I guess that's the point of this quick shifter, the time it takes you to pull in the clutch lever and shift. You still gotta lift your toe, but you don't have to pull in the clutch lever anymore, so we'll see. I doubt I'm gonna get the opportunity to use a quick shifter based upon the fact that I have bumper-to-bumper traffic due to a public transport issue here in London. I've always been dissuaded by riding an inline-4 around an urban area because of how these bikes are tuned. They're tuned for high-end horsepower, and they're really, looks like redline is 14,000 RPM. Ah, the old days of my early bike riding, which was an inline-4. And people are always like, oh, it's too much bike for the city, it's too much bike for the city, you're not gonna have that low-down control and power that you need in the city. Maybe it's just because I learned riding on an inline-4 that I know how to ride it at slow speeds, but there's something quite wonderful about an inline four-cylinder motorcycle. That kind of high-pitched whirring noise and that power band that just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows right up to insane RPMs. I was told that this would be an uncomfortable ride, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Inline four-cylinder, naked, neo retro, leaning forward on my hands. It's not really a race position for the pegs. Cable actuated clutch lever here, dual disc brakes, seat's hard as a rock, and it's very sporty. I'm kind of locked into the seating position. There's a kind of lower lumbar support right at the top of the crack of my ass. Comfortable bike. More comfortable, I'd say, than the CB500X I just rode, which had some uncomfortable vibrations in the foot pegs and the handlebars. No vibrations on this lovely machine. Let's go. Wow, yeah. 5,000 RPM, this thing just comes alive. It's kind of creeps up there. It slowly builds you in that kind of torquey power band. And then right when you hit 5,000, it just comes alive. That four-cylinder just wakes up. So nice. Ah! Yeah. Oh, and it's got that really lovely responsiveness that an inline-4 has. When you roll off the throttle, the engine brakes a bit for you. It just kind of comes down and says, okay, just what a sporty bike. This is the second bike that I've ridden in this stance. that's given me this nice little vacuum out of the air. And you know, it's serendipitous because anyone taller or shorter than me might not be experiencing this lovely pocket of this vacuum here where the wind is not bothering me. The wind starts right about there. It's not fairing at all. It's a naked bike, and the wind on this is a lot better than even that Royal Enfield Interceptor that I was riding. And everyone's like, oh, you know, it doesn't have a windshield, it's gonna be windy. This is not windy. Another one, I think it was the Suzuki 650, the SV650, that had that same pocket vacuum here. Oh, I suppose, now that I think about it, I suppose this would be the bike that would be Suzuki's competition. I mean, this is an inline 4 650 and that's a V-twin, 90-degree V-twin 650. Two completely different types of engines, and I might have sounded a bit surprised that that would be the competition for this bike, because this bike, I think, is a lot more grown up. It's a lot more sophisticated than that SV650. A lot more sophisticated than the XSR 700 that this is probably up against as well. That's a triple. That engine's just unruly, not tame at all. It's actually a bit scary, and the wheelbase on that bike is a bit scary. But this bike, I am loving this bike. I do not like these tumors sticking out either side for that wind scoop, but I am loving how this is performing. Oh, ha, interesting. I'm gonna downshift and see about this quick shifter. Okay, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 RPMs, no clutch lever. Wow! That's awesome! It was just a kick there. I'm gonna drop down again. 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. If I could train my head not to pull in the clutch lever, because I'm so trained at that. That is a really neat feature. That's a really neat feature. This bike wants to go fast though. You feel like you want to go fast. It'll get you some tickets, I think. Seat height, I am flat on my feet with a bend in my knees. It's a really low seat height. It's comfortable. The pegs are just in the right position, so I'm not scraping my shins or my calves on those pegs. I don't get what people are saying about the lower gears on the inline 4, because it just feels natural. It feels natural to me. This thing is just on rails. It is so nimble. Let's see, filtering. Thread the needle, yeah. A bit wide with these things. I can see why those sport bike riders... Goodbye. I can see why those sport bike riders pull in their mirrors as they're filtering, because it is a bit farther out. 5,000 RPM, no clutch lever, 6 gear. I like that. I like that a lot. I like that feature a lot. I'm sure it's like old hat to a lot of riders, and they're like, why are you so excited by that? But this is the first bike I've ridden that has that little feature. I think my other bikes, I've done it just by mistake. I've kind of shifted without pulling the clutch lever in by mistake. But this, I know I'm not ruining anything when I'm doing it. The display is nice. I don't know if you can see it past this big handlebar mount here, this riser, but the display is the same, a bit more compact version of the display that's on the new CB500X. It's across all of the new Hondas. It's a bit better in the sunlight, still a bit reflective, but I think because it's not so upright, so mirror-like, it's not doing the same reflection that we were having before. 4,000 RPM, a little buzzy now. 6 gear, I'm going to drop a gear. A little bit of buzzing. 5th gear, 55 miles an hour, 4,000, 4,500 RPM. A little bit of buzzing. It's a pretty windy day. I don't know if you can see the tops of the trees swaying. I'm getting some crosswind here. But the bike is really stout. I mean, it's a low bike, but it's really quite muscly and stout. So I'm not getting hit too bad with a crosswind either, especially a lot of vans and trucks going by with some turbulence. It's not bothering me all that much. Like most naked kind of sporty bikes, the bike just drops away. You don't see the front wheel or the headlight behind that display. It doesn't feel as perilous. I'm not getting that vertigo feel that I get on some of these naked bikes, like the Ducati Monster. It's a nice cockpit. Showa forks. I hit the horn. Showa forks here, so there's a little added value there. I like that kind of muted gold fork stanchions that they put on it. There's a big yellow coilover monoshock under the seat that reminds me of my old Ducati Monster 2 that endears me to this bike as well. The hard seat isn't that troublesome either. I'm not too bothered by the hard seat. It's not bothering my butt. You know, I'm leaning on my wrists, and I've broken my wrists a couple of times, so I'm pretty sensitive about having too much weight on my wrists. And it's not bothersome. I've been on the bike now for about 40 odd minutes, 45 minutes on the highway at speed, and it's comfortable. Yeah, that 4,000 RPM spot is, I'm getting a little vibration in my throttle hand. Not in my clutch hand, and none in my foot pegs, which is nice to feel. And absolutely nothing in the seat, which was different on the CB500X. I'm just seeing how low my RPMs go before the bike starts to get a bit upset with me. At 3,000 RPM, it's still quite happy. I'm in fifth gear going 38 miles an hour. It's good. I mean, the nice thing about the inline four is that the gears are very, very specific to the types of speeds you're going. And you have that huge range in the RPM. So you can use your gears as like a speed limiter, if you will, a bit more functionally than you can on a twin or even a triple. I'm loving this bike. I wonder if... The thing is, I look at bikes as if I'm meeting them in the bar, getting to know them for the first time over a drink. You know, there are things I'll discover about them. Generally, I'm getting to know them on the spot. So there's some mistakes I'll make about what I know about them, or there are some assumptions I make that are wrong. So I don't know a lot about what people are thinking about this bike. I haven't read a lot of reviews or watched a lot of videos or know much about this bike other than what I'm learning about it, and what I'm learning about it in the saddle right now. But I'm endeared to this bike. This is an endearing bike. I think people are put off by the 4 cylinders, but I quite like the 4 cylinders on this. You know, everyone's all about the triple, but this 4-cylinder is just a sweet dream. I can see what people are saying a bit about maybe they don't like it around the city at slow speeds because it wants to go fast. You want to go fast on this. Maybe that's the trick. It's not like it can't go slow. It treats you better at speed. And it doesn't treat you better at speed. I'm not being treated poorly. I'm not uncomfortable on this bike. But you can feel, like you see that red 14 on that display, and you're like, I'm not getting anywhere near there in the city traffic. I feel like I'm in a Japanimation movie. I feel like I'm in Akira. This is like an Akira bike. It's a green light off the line bike. Fuck me. Haha. Hello. I'm only going 40 miles an hour, but that was fun. I do love Japanese motorcycles, man. A lot of people disparage them calling them Jap crap, but they are so fucking well done. My God, you just feel like you're in the future. I can see why they're calling it neo-retro, because this is not a crappy throwback. It's not a reproduction of something they had in their line. They've made a new bike. I'm really enjoying this new bike. I like how low I can duck walk this right up to the line here. You gotta love the guys in the little cars who are creeping up at the light on a You almost hit me. Check your mirrors. You almost hit me. There you go, little London bullshit. Kuwaiti GS. Wow. Where are you coming from? Female rider with a Kuwaiti plate. It's so funny. I couldn't not find the horn on the old Hondas. Now this thing has been shifted down. I can't find the horn to save my life. 3 times people are not checking their mirrors through this traffic. Yeah, this is what happens to London when the TfL decides to shut something down. I think the DLR is closed today. Check your f***ing mirrors. Yeah, DLR is closed, and everyone decides to take out the car that's been parked in the street for a month. Bit wider than usual. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I was gonna see if it was nice in the slower lanes, but this is f***ing ridiculous now. It's not even rush hour. It's Thursday, so everyone's getting out early and trying to get away for the weekend. This is what happens. It's the London exodus. I do like this little river road here. Suspension, although it's very sporty, is pretty supple. Not as soft as the Yamaha 700. The suspension is what lets that Yamaha down, and I think that's generally the consensus. I thought so. But the suspension on this is a good balance between comfortable and, ooh, the tide's in. Comfortable and sporty, and kind of stiff enough to take the turn. It's not that on this ride I've taken any turns, but I can feel the stiffness of it. Third gear, 19 miles an hour, 18 miles an hour. Usually when you're riding an inline 4 on this, sometimes it gets a bit jerky like that. That kind of... But this is quite smooth. I had to wiggle my hand there to recreate the kind of low speed stuttering that sometimes you get. But this is quite pleasant. And actually filtering wasn't so bad, even with these wide mirrors. I think this would be good on a country lane too. I thought I might be able to go a little faster than I'm going in this kind of line of traffic here. Recreate a bit of country road, because I like these curves that this goes through and these lovely trees down here by the river. But even though I'm not able to go the speed I thought I would be able to go back here, it is still a pleasant ride. I have not found fault with this bike yet. That's odd. Surely I should find some fault with this bike. London's version of a country lane. 30 miles an hour, 4th gear. Little breeze coming in under the helmet. That's lovely. Yeah, that'll do. I don't know. I think I've found the perfect motorcycle? Surely not.
If you like that video and you want to see more like them, hit like, share, and subscribe.